Throughout the past 100 years, women's empowerment has been gradually strengthened. The stereotypical perception of women has slowly begun to change, and the birth of strong female role models has helped speed up this process over the last decades. 1910 was a first important milestone when women from over 17 countries decided at the Second International Socialist Women's Conference in Copenhagen to vote for an International Women's Day to promote women's rights everywhere in the world. This event has since been observed every year on the 8th of March as International Women's Day. Marie Curie receives the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for discovering the elements radium and polonium. Marie Curie was also the first woman awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1903. Simone de Beauvoir publishes her book The Second Sex, which is considered a milestone in feminist literature and made her one of the best-known intellectuals in France. The Diary of Anne Frank is first published, highlighting the plight of a 13-year-old Jewish girl's ordeal during World War II and the Holocaust. Rosa Parks, the African-American civil rights activist, gets arrested for refusing to give up her seat for a white passenger on a bus. Valentina Tereshkova, a Russian cosmonaut, becomes the first woman in space. Margaret Thatcher becomes the UK's first female Prime Minister. Sandra Day O'Connell is appointed as the first female judge on the US Supreme Court. Pakistan elects Benazir Bhutto as the first female Prime Minister, a first also in the Muslim world. Madeleine Albright becomes the first female US Secretary of State. The United Nations Security Council adopts Resolution 1325, which calls on UN member states and international organizations to actively protect women and children from violence in armed conflicts. The resolution also calls on them to prosecute sexual war crimes, mainstream a gender perspective into peacekeeping operations, improve specialized training, support local women's peace initiatives, and enhance the role of women in decisions on peace and security. Shireen Ebadi becomes the first female Muslim woman to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is elected as the first female president of an African country, Liberia. Angela Merkel, Germany's first female chancellor, is re-elected to a second term. NATO introduces a directive to implement UNSCR 1325 throughout its military structure based on 3 principles: prevention, protection, and participation. Michelle Bachelet, Chile's former president, is appointed head of the newly established United Nations Women, UN Women. At the Lisbon Summit in November 2010, the NATO heads of state and government highlight NATO's commitment to the implementation of UNSCR 1325. They adopt an action plan on mainstreaming the resolution into NATO-led missions and operations. 3 women, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, the President of Liberia, Layman Gwobwe, also from Liberia, and Tawakkol Karman from Yemen, receive the Nobel Peace Prize for their non-violent struggle for the safety of women and women's rights. Sweden opens a new centre for gender in military operations. The aim of the centre is to increase military awareness on gender-related issues, both nationally and internationally. The United States, under President Obama, launches the first ever US National Action Plan on women, peace and security.
We can do this.
However, women still have a long way to go before the glass ceiling will be completely shattered. Overall, women hold less than 1/5 of the positions in national governments, and far too often, women are sidelined from the negotiating table where important decisions are made, including conflict resolution. Today, women constitute a mere 19% of the members of parliament around the world. Rwanda superseded Sweden recently to become the country with the most female members of its national parliament. Women in the African country constitute 56.3% of its parliament. Hillary Clinton said, "We worked very hard on our national action plan, and we did it jointly, between the State Department and the Defense Department, because, from our perspective, it was essential that we have a comprehensive roadmap for accelerating and institutionalizing efforts across the United States government to advance women's participation in making and keeping peace. Now, more than 30 countries have approved national action plans on implementing the UNSCR 1325.
And we have significantly increased the number of women working at NATO, including at senior levels.
We will remain very committed to supporting and protecting the women of Afghanistan. There is still a long way to go, but their equal rights, together with men, are enshrined in the Afghan constitution. And so we'd like to see the Afghan women being empowered, taking their full role, also on the political decision taking level. I have agreed with Paul Washer, the minister, that we look at a 10-point action plan that she and her co-workers will left here at the headquarters, and I'd be happy to also transmit that to the allies and to the Secretary General, pointing at a number of very concrete things ahead of us.